Hello everyone and welcome to our next lecture. In the last lecture what we have done effective business communication competence. Okay, so I have explained everything related to this. Now let's come to different other types of competencies. What other competencies are? We have grammatical, discourse and strategic competence. Okay, so what is grammatical competence? See, grammatical competence means you should be very well aware of the grammar of any particular language. If you are dealing in a particular language, you should know that how you have to use the grammar of that language, be it English, be it Hindi, be it any other language. Okay, so that is the main thing. Then comes discourse competency. Discourse competency means along with grammar you have to deal with all other things like how a language is being spoken in a particular area. Okay, so you have to deal with all these things also. You should know that how those languages are spoken, so you should learn that also. That called discourse competency. And last is strategic competence. What strategic competence means? In this case, as I have written here, you can see the ability to express oneself in the face of difficulties or limited language knowledge. See, when there is a person who just don't understand a particular language, be it the grammar of that particular language or any other, like how you have to speak that language, that means the linguistics of the language, then please make sure is despite of all these things, despite of these difficulties, then also you have to learn how to speak it. Okay, that is called strategic competence. It's your strategy how to deal with all these things, and then also it should be like you are very well aware of that particular language. Okay, that is the main thing. So this is also very important because strategic competence is there are many people who have to deal with this kind of competence. Okay, now after that there comes social linguistic competence, which is very important because in this case what happens, along with your grammar, along with the way how to speak, you have to take into account the social aspects also. That means from where it belongs to, the area, then what are their social beliefs, and you have to keep in mind all these things. Sometimes what happens, just one word make a difference. That means maybe in your language that one word is means something else, but in some other language they mean something else. So you have to keep into account all these things. Social linguistic competence, if we go for these 3 points, like a limited view. See, a limited view means, okay, you are aware of a particular language, you just learn that language, that's it. Okay, you are aware of the grammar of the language, and that is it. Okay, a particular area is there, you have to go and speak their language, and it all completes. Then comes holistic view. Now holistic view says that you have to keep into account all the social linguistic things. Okay, that means you should be aware of how to use that language. You have to go with all your facial expressions also, maybe in this case. Okay, so that is more important. Holistic view is more important than a limited view, because in limited view you are just dealing with a language, you know how to speak English, you know how to speak French, and you are just speaking it irrespective of the thing that there needs some kind of gestures also with some words, but you are ignoring that. In holistic view you have to keep into account all those gestures also. Okay, so this thing you have to keep in your mind while going to some other place and knowing their language. You should be aware of their social beliefs also. The last point is theory and practices. See, theory and practices means while you are learning a new language, despite learning the grammar, that means I mean to say you have to learn grammar also, but along with that you have to practice that thing. Okay, practice in the sense, if you keep on speaking the words of that particular language, then only you will come to know what they think about a particular word, and how they you can say they pronounce a particular word, what non-verbal gestures they use while using that particular word, that may be with all different words. Okay, that is related to. So that is the most important thing that you have to keep into account. For example, if suppose some of you are making the others to learn a language, you should show them the videos. You can show them something which is some kind of practical, okay, which is practical in nature. Any kind of example you can give so that they can practice it accordingly. So social linguistic competence is even more tough rather than going for grammatical competency or linguistic competency, because in this case you have to deal with each and every point. Next comes solution of communication problems with verbal and non-verbal means. Now, if I go with verbal and non-verbal means, we all know that when we speak, suppose I am speaking at this time, so this is called verbal communication. But when I start using my hands or some eyes contact and other things, then they all come as non-verbal means, okay. If I go with the non-verbal, suppose if I go with all the messages, if there are non-verbal messages, then they are actually divided into proxims, they are divided into kinesics, they are divided into haptics, and they are divided into appearances and eye contacts, okay. So first word that I used is proxemics. Proxemics means distance, you can call it distance, okay. Then second, which is the most important non-verbal kind of thing, is that is kinesics. Kinesics means body language, how your body language is. The third word that I use, haptics. Haptics means touches, that means senses, how you sense a particular thing, that is called haptics. Then appearance and eye contact, these are also the non-verbal means, okay. And if we come to the verbal means, then in case of verbal means, we have speaking, we speak in a particular language, we have writing also, that means we can go for written communication also. Then we have some different types of tones and volumes, that means while speaking, when we slower down our pitch or when we higher our pitch, that also includes different kinds of non-verbal activities, and people will be able to understand what your tone means and what your word means, okay. So that is what. Now, as I have written here, what is non-verbal communication, what is verbal communication, what are the similarities and what are the differences between verbal and non-verbal communication. So let's deal with it. Verbal communication, we are very well aware of that verbal communication means communication with words, okay. So when you speak few words, and the person to whom you are speaking, they understand it, and this is very easy, very common, you can say, and it is mostly done face to face, okay. It can be done between within by one to one, or it can be done by one to many also. So this is verbal communication. Non-verbal communication means when you use your hands, when you use your body, when you use your eyes for the communication purpose, okay. So that is called non-verbal communication. Now there are different ways of non-verbal communication. That means a person has to first of all look at you while doing the non-verbal communication, because then only they will be able to understand what message you want to send them through that non-verbal communication, okay. So maybe that may be an eye contact, the way you contact your eyes with the other person, that also shows that there are different messages, okay. The way you use your hand, the way you use your body, okay, that means your body language, your gestures, your postures, all things included in the non-verbal communication. If we go with the similarities of the similarities between verbal and non-verbal communication, then I would like to say one thing, that they actually go one to one, that means they go side by side. When a verbal communication is there, definitely non-verbal communication is also there, okay. So always remember, with verbal you do the non-verbal communication, that is it, okay. They are connected with each other. Now if I go with the differences, then definitely there are many differences between verbal and non-verbal communication. The first one, as I say, that a verbal communication is structured one. Structured means you know what you have to speak, and you keep on speaking one by one, one by one, one by one. But may be possible in case of non-verbal, they are not in the structured form. You will say something, the person will understand something else, then you have to come back with your first message. So that it is quite complicated also. Sometimes it becomes quite complicated. So that is the main difference between the verbal and the non-verbal communication. Let's come to the second communication. Second types or second difference between verbal and non-verbal communication is that in case of verbal communication, you start with a point, you end with a point. Okay, so it is actually compact in size, you can say. But in non-verbal communication, what happens, there is no starting point, no end point, and nobody knows where you will go. That is the most important thing. This is a quite bad difference also, you can say, because you have to keep into account all these things. Okay, then one more that I will say, that in case of verbal communication, people will take the message appropriately. That means they will actually take the message as you want to say. But in case of non-verbal communication, what happens, sometimes the message is not appropriate in nature. They misjudge it, they misinterpret it. So interpretation is also most important thing, because maybe possible you want to say something through non-verbal communication, but the person will understand it in a different way, and this thing normally happens while doing a non-verbal communication. Okay, so keep into account all this also. Then there is one more difference also, that verbal communication is very fast and very efficient also, because they take it in a very fast manner and they understand it. Okay, so it is efficient, whereas non-verbal communication is not at all fast. It takes time to explain something through non-verbal communication, and maybe sometimes it is not as efficient as verbal communication is, because people normally don't get what actually you want to say. Okay, so it is fast, it is not at all, you can say non-verbal communication is time consuming. Okay, so these are the differences between verbal and non-verbal communication. Now let's see how to improve non-verbal communication. See, there are many ways to improve non-verbal communications. I have written here non-verbal signals you have to improve. You have to improve in different forms of signals. Okay, how to give your message through non-verbal communication. Different behavior. Okay, you have to behave in a particular manner so that person will be able to understand. Then only the non-verbal communication will improve. Tone of voice. Okay, here tone of voice means, if you are saying something, if you are like this, so that tone will definitely give an effect on your non-verbal communication. Okay, here tone of voice doesn't mean that the way I'm speaking and you are getting the tone. No, it's not that. It is a different tone of voice. Eye contact, you have to make a proper eye contact. You have to explain it in a very proper manner through your eyes, so that the person may be able to understand. Ask questions, use signals, group of signals, context and situations. Definitely sometimes situations are the most important things. Maybe the person is not in a proper senses, or maybe he is not in a good sense, you can say, so he may not be able to understand what you actually want to say. Then comes misleading signals. Of course, sometimes what happens, your signals, your gestures are so that they mislead the person who is understanding it. So try to work on that. Don't give any kind of signal which is misleading them. Practice, keep on practicing if you want to do the non-verbal communication. Working on postures, your body language, your gestures should be quite correct. That is the most important thing. Then read your audience. Just try to understand what the person wants to know. Okay, if you are giving the wrong postures, if you are not aware of what the person is doing, and yes, the most important thing is that you can read your audience by their non-verbal communication. That means by their body language, by their gestures, you can understand that also. Relax, maintain balance. That means you have don't be in hurry, or don't be over enthusiastic in that case. Okay, just maintain yourself. Improve emotional awareness and management of stress. Don't take any kind of stress while doing non-verbal communication, because that also affect the non-verbal type of communication. You have to work on that. And try to improve the emotional awareness. That means how you can show your emotions, because that is also a part of non-verbal communication. If you are happy, if you are sad, if you are crying, so they all shows the non-verbal communications. You have to work on that also. How to improve verbal communication is completely clarity of purpose, completeness, conciseness, feedback, empathy, and modify the message according to the audience. So let's see. Clarity of purpose means you know what you want to speak and what was the purpose of speaking a particular thing. So you should be very clear with that. Okay, just in a very small message, it should have a great impact if the message is small but to the point. Completeness, your message should be complete. Okay, there should not be like some to's and fro's about that, pros and cons of that. Okay, your message should complete complete means it should have all the answers related to a particular question which may arise. Okay. Conciseness should be concise in nature, that means it should have been very compactful. Okay. Feedback, keep on taking the feedback, that only improve your verbal communication. As I always said, you can ask the questions related to your ideas and definitely it will improve. Empathy, keep an empathy with the audience also, that is the most important thing. Modify the message according to the audience, that is, if you know how your audience is, you have to modify the messages. That means the idea that you want to tell, just tell it according to the audience. Modify doesn't mean that you have to change it. No, don't change it, but you have to explain your ideas in such a way that it will reach your audience in a very good manner and in a very easy manner. Okay, so this is all about unit 4. Your unit 4 completes here, and now from the next lecture I will start with unit 5. Okay, bye bye, take care.